Hello and welcome to another episode of Dustin Recommends. And I decided to go back to the roots of Dustin Recommends. The last couple I've done have been more mainstream movies that you probably had all intentions of watching. I'm going to go back to the movies that you probably never heard of, but are available on DVD and other situations like Vudu or Netflix, but are well worth your time. So, to get back into the weird and bizarre, we're going to start it off right. And we're going to start it off with Woochi the Demon Slayer. Chika. Now, what this is a Korean movie, and it is basically a retelling of the Korean myth of the demon's flute. Now, the myth goes that the three immortals, which are basically like, not really gods, but they're governed with protecting the earth, or in modern day, they would be considered protectors of just Korea. But in the old times, they were protectors of the world. But to do this, they couldn't actually fight or do anything. They were more like very powerful wizards. And they protected the earth from demons, which, same thing, they call them, the best translation is almost like a goblin, but I'm going to go demons for the sake of this recommendation. And what it is that they fashioned a flute that could control demons, because in the dark times, about 3,000 years ago, I believe is what they said, what the myth originally goes. I'm a little rusty on my Korean myths, so bear with me if this isn't 100% accurate. I'm just going off what I remember. But the myth basically goes that they create this flute that calms the demons and basically puts them to sleep. And they have to have one of their others. See, there originally were four. I forgot to mention that. That was only three, because the fourth one was tasked with playing this flute for all eternity to keep the demons asleep in Tartarus, hell, whatever you want to call it. Until, not really Judgment Day, but the day that they swapped out. And another guy would come in, supposed to come in there, because eternity apparently doesn't mean eternity. But they opened the door a day early, and to swap out by a mistake. And when that happened, the guy playing the flute was confused, and the demons woke up and basically killed him. Now, you're not supposed to be able to kill an immortal, but there's loopholes here and there. When you're in Tartarus, apparently immortals can be killed because they're immortal, not invulnerable. Big difference. Keep that in mind. So they basically killed him, and his soul was reincarnated into another person, and the demons got out. Well, there's not very many demons, and they don't know what's going on, so they take the form of humans. Now, there's a side effect. When a demon takes a form of a human, they forget who they are, and they basically turn into a person until they're reminded of what they are. So this goes on for like 500 years. These demons are periodically remember who they are, come back, and then realize, oh shit, there's a lot more humans, they can kill us, so they go back into human form and forget what they are again. Yeah, a little confusing. Yeah, the plot of this movie is a little confusing too. So don't worry about it if you're halfway through the movie, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Because I did that like 4 times. But anyway, back to the myth. So they come up with these Tao Masters, which they're basically the superheroes of Korean myth. The Jesus figures, the Zeus figures, that's what these guys are. And there's one guy named Tai Woochi, who is a very young, very headstrong, of course all heroes are, aren't they? Very independent hero that's only in it for the fame. And his master is trying to train him up. Now I'm still talking about the myth, but this is closely paralleling with the movie. So I'll tell you when I kind of segue off into that. So Woochi basically has this dog that he changes into human as his assistant. Now, this being dog changed into human apparently gives him superhuman strength and all sorts of stuff, and he basically helps Woochi out, being basically a Korean Robin Hood. Meanwhile, his master keeps trying to bring him back to get more enlightened so he can become a true Tao master. So what it basically is, Woochi ends up finding the flute, finding the reincarnation of the guy that played the flute, gets him or her, because he reincarnated into a chick that time, to play the flute to calm the demons again and put them back to sleep, and world was at peace again. End of myth. Now this movie takes that myth and expands on it a little bit. Has the same little thing there, except the myth goes into modern day, which I really liked. There was a lot of really bad CGI, but it's better than any sci-fi movie out there now. So, yeah, it's not Hollywood quality, but really impressive coming out of a Korean, a South Korean freaking movie. This was pretty impressive, actually. But it's still kind of crappy CGI for the demons. But anyway, it goes back into that, and then Woochi is with his master, and they introduce a new character who is also supposed to be a very powerful Tao master. I don't want to spoil this for you. Well, actually, it gets kind of spoiled about 30 minutes into the movie, but it's not what he thinks he is. You kind of remember what I was talking about earlier? So he goes after the demon flute. Turns out he's I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, turns out he's the main big bad demon. Ram's head and all. So he's going after the flute so he can control all these other demons to get them back, and they're going to take over the world again. So he ends up killing Wushi's master, and Woochi gets blamed. So the three mortals punish Woochi and his dog companion by putting them in a scroll for 500 years. Now, in the original Korean version of this, it was forever. I don't know why they changed it for the American release and the American dub for 500 years, because it really doesn't make any sense. Because after 500 years, the main big and bad starts releasing the demons again, and they go and they release Woochi because he's the only Tao master left in the world, to go after these demons. And so that's the movie right there. But the movie is very well done. Again, it's a very fun movie. It's very much in the vein of Kung Fu Hustle, just not as Looney Tunes-like. It is a fantasy comedy action. Very good. It's still safe enough for the kids to watch. Unless they're scared of giant rats and rabbits. Those are the demons. Rats and rabbits. 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 Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, I lost track there, went to a segue. But it's a very good movie. Again, I recommend it. If you like Kung Fu Hustle, or if you like good action movies that you don't really have to think much, because you will be watching this at first and be like, I have no clue what's going on. What? And a lot of that has to do with the translation and the English dub. The English dub is kind of ridiculous. I would recommend watching it in the original Korean with English subtitles. It's not as good because even I'm not that good at Korean, but I know that a bunch of the words that they said are not lining up with what they mean. Kind of like the forever and 500 years kind of thing, but still. Suspend your disbelief, suspend your belief system there for a little bit and watch it. It's an enjoyable movie. It's well worth the like $14. You can pick it up at Walmart. I haven't seen it on Vudu or seen it on Netflix here lately, so I just went ahead and picked it up because it looked interesting, and it was. Very entertaining. It's well worth a second watch. I'll probably watch it again just to try to iron out the plot a little bit better. But very good action scenes, very imaginative action scenes, use of magic and fighting all at once, and the use of talismans in this is very interesting too. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But again, Woochi, the Demon Slayer. Dustin recommends it. Get in there and watch it, and look forward to some very more interesting movies to come. Probably some that are not gonna be up some of you guys' alley, but other ones will be like, yes, this is the greatest movie ever. Thank you, Dustin. You are a god among men. You are so awesome. Ah, the crowd roars. I'm doing it again, aren't I? Going off into my own little world. But Dustin recommends Woochi the Demon Slayer. Pick it up. It's not that much. Well worth your time, and it's kid friendly. Not very many of my movies are kid friendly, and I guarantee you, kids, especially little boys into action movies, are really gonna dig this movie. So pick it up. Woochi the Demon Slayer. Dustin recommends it. Watch it. You guys be careful and take it easy.